It's March 2017, and you're listening to Shake and Razzle on episode 54 of this Prattlecast. And it looks like we're 10 days away from the trial of, or the free trial of, well, not really free. What am I really saying here? The trial that comes with EA access
There's a
of
lot
the game.
being said here. There's a whole lot of nothing happening right now. So what trial is it?
Mass Effect Andromeda, of course.
That's good.
We're like at that 2-week, we're at that 2-week away period where we're waiting for 2 weeks for the game to come out. I have a feeling we're going to look back on this and think, oh, I miss my optimism. But what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm really excited, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up because I just don't want to be disappointed, but I have to prepare myself for disappointment.
Well,
because as you know, I recently started playing Mass Effect 3 again. Mm-hmm. And I know I had just literally talked on the podcast about how I thought 3 was better than the first game. I take back my previous statements. I strike them from the record because I'm playing it now, and it's disappointing. It seems like 2 was the high point in the Mass Effect games, and now it's declined. Maybe with Andromeda they're bringing everything I love back. Maybe not, though. They seem to be making lots of mistakes in general with their games, so I don't know.
I mean, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, I'm just, I want to be happy, but,
Well, you should be happy then. Be happy about it, because at the end of the day, you have another Mass Effect game coming out. It could be total garbage, but at the end of the day, it's Mass Effect. It's one more Mass Effect thing than if there wasn't a world of Mass Effect. And when you think about it, in my opinion, I think maybe the series hopefully has already hit its lowest of lows, and maybe this will be a reboot into something good.
A rebirth.
Yeah, a rebirth.
That'd be nice.
That's what I hope, anyway.
I mean, it'd be nice, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Well, I saw this thing the other day. Okay, so what is the name of this? It's 10 things.
What?
That you... Okay, I guess it's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube. 10 Mass Effect facts you probably did not know. So, I figured it would be fun to look at this list and see whether or not either of us knew any of these things.
Oh, goody.
I
love a quiz.
Here's one. Shepard
Yep.
was named after someone. Do you know who that was, Shake?
Sybil Shepherd. No.
Well, that was close. You got the Shepard part right. So.
I figured I was on the money in some way. I had a 50-50 chance. No, I have no idea who they named.
Yeah, they named Shepard after Alan Shepard, the first American to enter space.
I feel like you knew that already.
That one I did know.
You nerd.
But most of the things on here I did not know. So, but that's one that I did know. And I only knew that because I heard about that back when the first game was in development, about where the name came from. So that's why I knew that one.
Okay.
Here's another one that I did not know. Mark Vanderloo, of course, is he's the face model of the male Shepard.
Oh, he's a handsome fella.
Yeah.
If he really looks like that.
Now, according to this list, there is a fictional character who was apparently named after Mark Vanderloo. And do you know who that is? I didn't.
A fictional character. Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it a comic book character?
No, not a comic book
character. I don't have a fucking clue.
Zoolander.
What?
Yeah, apparently, according to this list, and again, I don't know if this is real or not, but apparently, according to this list, Zoolander was named after Mark Vanderloo.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, why? I mean, cool, I guess, but why? That seems so out there. It's like, we're going to name you after Mark Vanderloo.
I don't know, maybe they were fans of the game. I don't know. Or maybe Mark Vanderloo, of course, is a model, so I don't know.
Oh, you see, though, if he's a model, though, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why. It makes sense now. It's come full circle for me. Okay, that makes sense.
Now this one I did know. I knew this one. Let's see if
I'm gonna know
Shay
none
knew.
of these. I'm gonna know none. I'm so ignorant. Okay. I'm like the most
Okay,
ignorant person I've ever met in my life. Okay.
It's about Mass Effect 3, so...
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay.
So do you know who voiced the Stargazer at the very end of Mass Effect 3?
What, the person who's looking up with the kid?
Yeah, looking up with the kid,
Being
telling
like,
the
oh,
story.
Shepard.
Yeah, the Shepherd.
Who's doing that?
Yeah. Who was the voice
I don't know.
actor?
Is it like... I have no idea. I have no idea.
It was Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin they brought in to
What
read
the fuck?
part of the Stargazer.
You knew that?
I did know that, yes. But again,
You're such
I only
a nerd.
knew that. I only knew this because, again, when I was following the development of Mass Effect 3,
You're a nerd.
Okay, well.
No. I understand. I mean, you follow things better than I do. Like, I don't know about shit till it's out. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm really looking forward to this game. And then everyone's like, oh, it came out 4 months ago.
This one doesn't really have a question I can ask you, but it's an interesting point, and they bring up that there was unused audio that shows that at one point, BioWare was thinking about having an option for both Ashley and Kaidan to survive.
I knew that.
Very good, Shake.
That I knew. I knew something. Why do I know that, though? Where do I know? Did you tell me that?
I don't know.
Did you?
It could have come up at some point in the past, but I don't remember.
That I knew. Can you imagine both of those fucking assholes alive at the same time? Both questioning Shepard?
That would be a little bit too much to
I'd be
have
like,
both
listen,
Ashley and Kaidan.
I can't with the two of you.
And since they both just regurgitate each other's lines, it would just be like having twins, which would be, I guess, sort of like having writer twins.
I mean, and I guess they'd both be gone most of the time anyway.
Now, one thing I did know, and it's not on the list, but I knew that they had like the Kaidan dialogue for a romance with male Shepard at one point in development, because you can actually access, apparently there are some files on there in the Mass Effect shipped PC game. You can access audio files that actually have a little bit of a gay romance between male Shepard and Kaidan. So it was something they were
that in the
thinking
bud.
about. Yeah, they did.
They weren't having none of that.
Then they brought it back for the last one. Okay, so
well, I mean, really, even if you do get to romance him, you're not gonna see him for 2.5 games anyway. So you gotta romance somebody else. Like, unless you're holding out for a hero, and Kaidan's not a hero.
If you're holding out for a gay romance, you gotta wait till the end.
Yeah, it's like you get it in the first game, you know, if you want, and then last half of the third game, you can approach him again if you wanna. But
now here's one I do remember hearing something about. It's been so long, but I do remember hearing about this one. And let's see if I don't really even know how to pose this as a question, but do you know what they did with some copies of ME3 or Mass Effect 3? Something interesting they did with a lot of copies of that game.
That's a bad way to pose a question. You're really bad at this. I can't think
of how else to do it. It involves balloons.
What, did they like tie them to balloons and let them just float where they may?
Close.
Really?
Well, I'm going to say that's close.
Did they put some?
Yes.
Did they send some copies into space?
There you go. Yes, they put them in. They sent them into space through weather balloons. Yeah.
You know those do come down eventually.
Well, it's going to hit somebody on the head eventually.
Somebody's going to die. You're just going to find shattered Mass Effect 3 copies all over the ground. And I thought
the most depressing thing about that game had already been revealed, but apparently in the future.
Apparently sometime soon, a rash of people will die because of Mass Effects falling from the sky.
It'll be like a cycle, you know. Every cycle, the Mass Effect 3 copies come down and kill humans.
I mean, this is essentially our version of the Reapers. We just keep them in weather balloons.
Like, it just got to be such a problem that we had to put ourselves in sealed containers, and then one day someone unearths us, and we're like, yes, you won't survive this cycle of the Mass Effect 3 games in the weather balloons.
There's still 4 more weather balloons, and we have no idea where they are. They're somewhere, though.
Now, here's one that's interesting. They originally wanted to make something, a game for Mass Effect that would be a first-person shooter. Now, I think this would have been something that was not, necessarily an actual Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3, but rather just another independent game in that universe, probably a first-person shooter type thing going on.
That sucks.
I would agree.
That's
but,
stupid.
They had a lot of ideas for the games that never really saw fruition. Like, if you went back and watched some of the early trailers, one of the ideas they had was you could take control of any of your squad mates at any time and have them kind of just take full control of them and whatever. I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're not doing well with the words today.
Words are not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't know why
fine.
I'm on a podcast. But anyway, wordsmithing. Oh, here's one. What did they make the Citadel Tower look like?
A penis. No, I don't know.
That's an interesting thought.
I guess I don't know, it's just the first thing I thought of. It's weird. What did they make the Citadel look like?
Yeah, I don't know if they purposely did this, but I imagine they did. But the
Is
layout
it something related to Star
Tower,
Wars?
No, it's not related to Star Wars. But the layout of the Citadel Tower looks like something.
Oh, the tower.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't remember what the tower looks like.
Well,
I thought you meant like the actual station of the Citadel. I have no idea what the tower looks like, so I couldn't tell you.
Apparently, it looks like a Reaper, which I think is kind of a weird thing to put out there because can't Reapers look like anything? They had like a human Reaper in Part 2, for God's sakes.
Well, they're basically... The way it's been explained to me in recent times of adventuring through this universe is that, listen, I just killed a human Reaper. All right? They were making a big, giant baby Reaper. The Reapers are made off of whatever species they're feeding off of.
Yeah.
So those Reapers before were, like, eating a bunch of fucking bugs and shit. And now they're eating people, so they're making a Reaper that looks like a person.
Or are they meant to be shaped sort of like the Prothean heads?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
That's not what I think. Then again, as I get to know these Protheans, I'm not so much a fan.
Oh, here's a really interesting one. What? The Afterlife music was originally made for what?
The sex scenes.
What
else would you use that for?
It was, okay, I'm going to give you one guess after I give you this clue.
Okay.
All right, it was originally made for another genre of game, but it was deemed to be too techno. So can you tell me what genre of game it was?
What genre of game?
Yeah.
What the fuck else is BioWare doing besides RPGs?
I didn't say it was a BioWare game.
Oh, shit. A genre of game that music would just be a no-no for.
It was made for that other game. Okay. And it was deemed to be too techno, so they...
I mean, is it like a first-person shooter or a side-scrolly thing?
Is that your guess?
I don't know. Like, I am really bad at this.
Well, both of those would be wrong anyway. It was apparently made for a football game.
See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, you would think so. But then again...
So why would I ever guess that?
Making football games. So, there you go. Now they make Skyrim and Fallout. It's a small world.
Good for them. Good for them. It's nice to know where you come from. Good for them.
And finally here on this little list...
I'm really bad at this. You make me feel dumb.
Well, I hope so. That's what I strive for.
Good. Good to know. We're here to make me feel stupid.
Most of these I did not know, just so you know. The only ones I really knew were the ones we went over at the very beginning. But the Citadel Tower, the Afterlife music... all this other stuff. I didn't know any of this. Okay, but here's another interesting point they bring up, and that was that the Citadel was a concept for a space station proposed by a physicist in the 1970s.
So that was going to be a real space station?
I think it was just an idea they had in the 70s.
Well, why don't we do it?
I don't know. I think the Citadel is actually one of the best-looking space stations I've ever seen in sci-fi.
It's real nice.
It's very pretty.
And it's like a weapon. You can open it way up. You can close that shit up. It's like a flower.
I'm not sure if that's what they had in mind.
It's like a little flower.
What?
I think it's really cool.
It is a cool station.
Why can't
It
we
looks like a
have
really
one?
nice
I mean,
place.
yeah, I know we can't travel around to a bunch of places yet, but we can still build that and just chuck it out there and visit it.
Just chuck it out there.
Just chuck it out into space, and then you can go on vacation on the Citadel.
I don't think that's how this works. I don't think you just chuck space stations out into space.
Well, once you get it out there far enough, it'll stay out there.
just throw it far enough.
Just throw it far enough out. It's okay. It won't come back.
I don't know why you're not in charge of NASA. This
Honestly,
works.
NASA needs people like me. I'm a doer. I'll get shit done at NASA. I'll be like, you put that stuff in space now. Today.
Well, apparently there are a lot of people that are very nervous about Mass Effect Andromeda, as well they should be. But is it now, as far as the game here, now some things we haven't seen, which is a little strange. We haven't seen anything regarding the character creator. And they revealed just recently, I think they revealed it today, that apparently the trial that's going to come out on EA Access is going to be a limited trial, which also seems a little weird. You're only going to have access to the very beginning of the game, and you'll also have access to multiplayer. It seems a little weird. It's almost like they're saying, we don't want you to experience too much of the game because maybe the rest of the game doesn't hold up. Well, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you had told me about this with the trial, that you're not going to be able to play the whole game.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, no, you said like you could play it as like however long you wanted, but then once it was over, you had to start over.
No, I said you could play it for the 10 hours because it's a 10-hour trial. And if you're still playing it on the same console or on the PC that you've downloaded it on, then yes, you can continue your game save. But if you start it like on Xbox One on EA Access and then you buy it on PS4, you'd have to start over. But it's a 10-hour trial, and it wasn't until recently that they just announced that it's going to be a limited trial, which means it only has access to certain content. You won't be able to play very far into it.
Yeah, I don't want to play disjointed content.
Well, I don't think it's disjointed so much as it's just the beginning stuff, and then after that you can't go any further.
Okay. In that case, why are you giving me the trial?
See, that's kind of my thought too.
That's what I mean, I'm sorry, you're just giving me opening stuff, and it's like, you know, it's, sure, yeah, it'll be cool to see, wonderful, but like, it's a trial. I expect to see something, to be able to be like, ooh, I can just like put my foot on this one planet and go a little bit. I just want to go look at it a little bit. Like, let me go look around a little bit. Like, I just want to play. I want to play it. Because the intro stuff, most intro stuff, you're not really playing a lot of that.
I think you have like the first mission, so you can have like one planet that you can kind of explore a little bit. I don't know anything about the first mission, so I don't actually know. But the other thing about the trial is you'll have access to the multiplayer, which is weird because they did cancel the multiplayer beta. It almost feels like this is going to be...
They were going to have a beta for multiplayer?
Yeah, they were going to have a multiplayer beta.
Oh, no, they're not.
People signed up for it months ago. You had to apparently answer this huge quiz because you know how BioWare is. Anytime BioWare, for some reason, I've noticed that if they ever have you sign up for something, you have to answer like you're taking a test to join the CIA or something. They want to know everything. They want to know what's your favorite character, what's your favorite color, whatever. So you had to go through this entire ridiculous process.
If you could eat one food every day for a year, it's important that we know.
I would probably pick meatloaf or...
Oh, you're disgusting.
Maybe mac and cheese or...
You would not pick mac and cheese. You're picking everything you hate. Jesus.
I like mac and cheese.
Oh, you don't like grilled cheese. Sorry, I forgot.
No, I hate grilled cheese.
I know you do. I know you've got an issue with grilled cheese, and I don't understand it.
It tastes like vomit on bread. I don't know how else to put it.
Interesting that you would know.
Well, I mean, everybody knows what vomit tastes like. Anybody who's ever thrown up.
But everyone's vomit tastes different. You can't just say that it's vomit on bread. That's not what a grilled cheese sandwich tastes like.
Well, I think everybody's taste buds are different. So what might taste like cheese to me might taste like broccoli to you.
But your taste buds also, like, reset every 8 years. By the way, I think my cat is actually dying. If anybody can hear that, I'm sure everybody can. But yeah, we were going somewhere a minute ago. Oh yeah, they canceled the multiplayer beta. Yeah, we got this.
They canceled the beta at like the last minute here, and they said the reason why they canceled it was everything is really good. We think it's okay. We're going to launch it as it is. Nothing to see here, folks. Don't worry about it. The game is good. So I don't know.
I don't know.
To me, that sounds kind of...
That makes me nervous more than anything.
A little bit.
Like, that actually... I don't... Because I've said this a million times. I've never done any multiplayer in Mass Effect ever, but you have, said nice things about the multiplayer in the third game. So you would assume it can only get better, but I don't know. How often does BioWare actually do multiplayer?
Well, they've
like
done it with Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition, and I think that was... Well, actually, no. Also with the older games, like Neverwinter Nights, they had a multiplayer function as well.
Okay.
It was actually really cool back in the day. So.
All right, well, if we look at it from an Inquisition point of view, since that is the newest thing that they have had, did you do any of that multiplayer?
Nope.
Okay, never mind. I didn't. I knew I was going to get nothing there, but I figured... Because we could... I mean, obviously we can't say they're going to do the same things they did in Inquisition. You like to think everybody grows from their mistakes and things they've done right and wrong. But if you had done the multiplayer, I could be like, well, let's see what they've done with this multiplayer and what could they do with that to implement into Andromeda. But we can't do that because Razzle didn't go down that road.
No, I think I've told you the story. I started Inquisition. I played it for 3 days, didn't get very far, got bored, stopped playing for months, went back to it later to finish the main story, finished it, uninstalled it, and I recently went back to try it again, and I couldn't get very far at all because I just remembered how mind-numbingly boring this game is.
Yeah, because you really wanted to just try to truck through the story and see if you thought differently about it.
Yeah,
and you didn't.
I didn't get through the opening stuff. Like I was on the first mission, and I was just bored already. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do this game again.
There's a lot of people that I've run into lately. Really from playing Mass Effect, who have been talking about Inquisition and the original Dragon Age, and everybody seems to really like Inquisition, but then in the same breath, they hate the first game.
I think everybody has their has different tastes.
I think that's so weird.
When Origins first came out back in, I guess, 2009, and this is a game that had been in development a long time. I went to the forums back when Jade Empire was still coming out, and there was another forum for Dragon Age at that time, which was still in development. So that was back in 2005 or so. And when Dragon Age finally launches, at the time, it was just such a perfectly put together story where you really felt like you were shaping things. Every character class you played felt a little bit different. Like if you were an elf in that world, you really felt like people were judging you like you were an elf because elves weren't really looked upon very favorably in that universe. In Inquisition, it's kind of an afterthought with being an elf. If you're an elf in that game, it's kind of like nobody really cares. It's mentioned briefly, but nobody really cares.
That's weird.
It's just weird. It's very strange. It's so disconnected from what the game used to be, but to each their own. I played a dwarf the first time.
What did I play the first time I did? I played a, oh my god, one of the, well, I guess from my very first, I've only played the very first game, but I did the Woodland Elf.
Oh, I love those.
So it was really fun, and then I did a second playthrough as the city ones, and I was like, holy shit, it is bad up in here.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable. Like, I was like, this is I did not want this for myself. What happened here?
There was, like, rape and pillaging.
It's really bad. Like, everything's like, you're always on a knife edge in there, and it's like, oh no. It was really uncomfortable, because, like, in the woods, I was like, I'm free. And then I turn around, and no, I'm a slave. It was real bad.
Yeah, the Dalish were pretty cool. I did the Dalish on my second playthrough, and I liked that one a lot too. But the point there is that there are things that I didn't even know you could do after finishing the game in my 55 hours of playing, which, for instance, the fact that you could recruit that evil king guy to be on your team. I never knew you could do that.
Wait, which evil? You talking about the Logan guy? Was his name Logan?
I don't know. It's been years. He had like black hair. He was like
I thought he was just like the big villain in the game.
No, he wasn't the big villain because I think you encounter him about halfway through it.
Oh no, he just wants the throne.
Yeah.
That's his thing. Okay, he's not it's been a while. But he just wants the throne. I didn't know you could recruit him. I don't even know how you do that.
I don't either, but apparently you can. That's what I've been told. And the same way with like when I first played Mass Effect 3, I didn't know you could get the Justicar's daughter. I didn't know that was an option.
You wait a minute. I can get her daughter?
Yeah, but you have to have like a really high persuasion roll though.
Isn't that like Paragon business?
I mean, Renegade or whatever too, but
I'm kind of a weird mix. I mean, I'm mostly Renegade, but we'll see. Maybe I can get get an Ardat Yakshi on my team.
Well, actually, I mean, no, I'm talking about the second game. Not
oh, that daughter? I don't want that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting you know what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's real weird. I don't know. Oh, yeah, because there were options that were blocked off for her for me. Because she starts using all her mind shit on you. Yeah. That makes sense, I guess. I've never had those not be blocked off, though.
Yeah, I think you have to have like a really high Renegade roll at that point, which means
See,
that
you would have had to forces you to make unnatural decisions, though, to get certain characters.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems with the game.
I don't like that. I should be able to get her in another way. Somehow.
It's a role-playing game that kind of forces you to not role-play if you want to get all of the content. It's very strange how they put that together.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, do you want to keep Rex alive? Well, do a lot of Renegade shit, because you're going to need it.
No, I mean, with Rex, all you had to do, I think, was the loyalty mission.
Oh, no. Well, I'm talking about the first game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, the first game, when you're on Vermeer, if you don't have your Renegade thing up high enough, you'll have to kill him.
I thought if you did his loyalty mission, though, that gave you a boost.
No. Not that I've ever known. I don't know.
Who knows? I've never had him die, so I don't know.
Yeah, I had him die in my first playthrough because I tried to Paragon him to death, forgetting that I was talking to a Krogan. I was very uncultured at the time. But
well, you tried.
You can't Paragon a Krogan. They just laugh at you and call you weak.
So do you think this new Krogan's going to be romanceable? That's really my biggest question about Mass Effect Andromeda right now.
I just want to touch that little beard. That little beard. It reminds me of Fred Durst, which is unsettling.
Fred who?
Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit. You remember that? No, am I alone?
No.
Okay. Yeah, he had one of those too, and it was really nasty, and it always grossed me out, and now I'm seeing it on a Krogan, and I'm like, that looks pretty sweet. It's just weird. I'll have to show you some pictures of Fred Durst. People know what I mean.
Obviously people will. I don't have a damn clue.
You'll know when you see him. He was a freak. But I want him to be. Like, I don't know.
I have a bad feeling.
Like, I want him to be, but I feel like he's going to die on me.
Like, I feel like he's going to be like the one character who isn't romanceable in your squad, you know? That one character who's like, no, I'm too old. Leave me alone.
And it's like, you are never too old for some lovin' in a new galaxy. So get over here, okay? Listen, I will renegade you into my bed. Like, it's ridiculous. But you know what, though? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, there's people that I want to romance that I can't. Like, even if that Turian's romanceable, maybe she doesn't want to be with a woman. So I'm forced to wait till my male playthrough to love her.
Yep. There you go.
Like that, I thought about that the other day, and I'm like, I might not even be able to romance that fucking Turian. I get to meet a female Turian, and I can't even go near her. What if she doesn't want me? Then what? What if she doesn't want anybody? What if she's like all business?
What if she's business in the front, party in the back?
Well, then she's just dangerous.
Well, have you seen that the Mass Effect just launched their latest and last initiative video called
Have I seen it? No.
Golden Worlds. And it's all about, you know, finding a home and blah, blah, blah. But apparently there was a big hint they just dropped in this video. And the hint was, because at one point, because they're talking about the different types of worlds you can explore, and on one of them they said this could be ideal for Quarian colonists. And so far, we haven't seen anything about the Quarians.
Well, they wouldn't have their own arc like the other races do.
I know, and that's kind of the part where I'm like, I don't really know what would happen here, because they'd have to have very specific life, you know.
And also, if the Quarians were traveling, we would have definitely known about it in our playthroughs.
But why would they say this could be an ideal planet for Quarian colonists and less
They could already
Quarians.
be there.
So you think they just randomly went out into space?
People don't know what the fuck the Quarians are even doing 90% of the time. It's like,
true.
oh, they're over here. We last saw them buying stuff here. Like, when you see reports on the Quarians, which you don't until the third game, by the way, like, when they give updates on them, because people start perceiving them as kind of a threat because they don't know what they're doing. Because nobody knows what they're doing. And they're always just like, oh, they stopped at Ilium for some fuel. And then they stopped here 2 weeks later for parts. And they had different Quarians gathering stuff in different places. And when the Quarians go out on their pilgrimages, nobody knows what they're doing on their pilgrimages. So they could already be there. Maybe they're already there not wearing their suits, and I know what they look like finally.
Maybe I don't remember it as well, but I seem to recall back in like Mass Effect 1, the feeling that the Quarians were so rare, like you just didn't see them very often. And then in Mass Effect 2, they're literally everywhere. Like everywhere you go, there's Quarians.
I felt that way in the first game, yeah. They're definitely not around as much, but then again, the Citadel's very small in the first game.
Like, because I thought there were like options where humans didn't really know what Quarians were, but then if you watch Mass Effect 2, which only takes place about 2 years later, it's like every human being on the planet knows what a Quarian is.
Well, Quarian, even when you say it, sounds like something very foreign. Like, it sounds foreign to say, even though we know it. It sounds like something they wouldn't know about. I don't know. I think BioWare kind of dropped the ball.
Maybe there were Quarian rebels who left the flotilla and decided to join the initiative and come up with a special compartment.
They could have been on a pilgrimage, and that was what they were doing, is helping build these arcs.
I thought about that, but I think the whole thing with a pilgrimage is you're supposed to go out and then bring something back to the flotilla, and it's very clear that the initiative is a one-way trip.
Right, but there's also been people that leave on their pilgrimages, and they decide that, they like helping certain people. I mean, I've run into a few Quarians who are like, oh yeah, I've really enjoyed helping these communities, or one of them enjoyed like working in a shop. Some of them just enjoy not being in the flotilla, but they usually want to go back because that's their family, and the Quarians are so tight knit. But I just feel like if the Quarians were involved in the initiative, we would know, because we've got Tali. Like, we would know if anything happened.
What do you
but
mean?
Maybe Tali,
yeah.
but there's also the chance that maybe it was just a group of Quarians that decided they were going and didn't tell the other ones. So then you just have like these missing ones, and people just assume they died on pilgrimages or out scouting for supplies.
I mean, there are ways you can get around it. I feel like you almost have to have them in there, because if not, then you're setting up Andromeda to be a place where Quarians don't exist. And Quarians, a lot of people like them. I myself am not a huge fan of the Quarians, but even I'm like, if it's Mass Effect, you kind of have to have Quarians there.
I don't care about them either way. But like, yeah, put them in.
I just never really found them that interesting. I really didn't. Like, I never really was a fan of Tali.
I just want to know what they look like outside of the suits, and then I'm done. That's really all I need from them. Like, I would I find it interesting also that I don't think they're bringing all the races from the Milky Way.
Well, they're bringing the council races.
Right,
we don't
which
know
means
the Hanar and the...
Yeah, which means I don't get to learn anything about the Elcor.
Well, maybe there is an Elcor who comes.
Like, I just, like, I don't know, the Elcor are always kind of cool to me. And, like, I want to know more about them. Like, I can read the codex and stuff, but no, I want to be around an Elcor. I want to experience them. You know?
Well, I mean, there's nothing saying that they're not in the initiative. They might be there.
I mean, if they are, they don't have their own arc.
No, obviously. The
there
only
could
arcs
just be
are
a couple
Turians, Solarians, humans, and Asari. But
what if, like, a couple Vorcha just decided to fucking hole up in a ship and they show up too?
I could do without the Vorcha.
Could do without the Vorcha. You can get rid of the Batarians.
Yeah, Batarians have kind of lived out their usefulness in some ways, but then again, you could always have maybe some Blue Sun mercs or whatever who stumbled their way onto the initiative.
That wouldn't bother me so bad, as long as they were in the Blue Suns.
Yeah, you have to have some type of reason for them to be there.
Yeah, like just bringing some Batarians. Like, there's no reason to bring a fucking Batarian anywhere. Throw it away.
The only reason I even bring this up is just to bring up the point that if we're going to have games taking place in Andromeda, then we need to have the Mass Effect races there. And that includes the Quarians. So even though I personally am not a fan of them, I recognize that they're important to the Mass Effect universe, and there are a lot of fans of them, and they're going to want those Quarians there, and I've got no issue with that. So hopefully they come up with something to make everybody happy.
I mean, if they're bringing it up, we're going to see one. At
That's
least
what
one.
I think.
Like, I mean, if they're taking the time to be like, oh, a Quarian could live here. Okay, that's very fucking specific.
No. I mean, the way they put it was this could be ideal for, Quarian and something else. I can't remember the other thing they said, but something in Quarian colonists. And I'm sitting here like, well, if you're interested in Quarian colonists, then clearly you've brought them with you, because it's not like you're just going to find them randomly in the fucking Andromeda galaxy. And if you are just planning to randomly stumble upon one, you're an idiot. I mean, who the hell would put together this expedition like, oh yeah, I'm sure we'll just run into Quarians. They're bound to be in Andromeda for some fucking reason.
They're gonna be here. Of course they would be. They're way ahead of us.
So I'm like, you know what? They've got to be there somehow, some way. Otherwise, why even bring them up? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, we'll find out in a couple weeks.
2 weeks to be exact.
Well, it's like 15 days.
Well, yeah, but
it's
2
15
weeks.
days. It's not
it's
2
weeks.
weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
It's just and it's not accurate.
It's 10 days from the trial, and I wonder if the trial is going to have the character creator. I'm thinking about getting it just to mess around with the character creator, see what the options are.
I don't know that it would. Why would it?
I don't know. I mean, if it doesn't, it almost makes the trial completely pointless, because what else am I going to do with it other than play around with the character creator, try to get my perfect character? And if I can, then I'm going to save the code, put it on my PS4, and that'll be that. I'm still probably going to go with the base model, though. Because I just have a feeling that...
Well, for the brother, I'm not changing it.
Well, I know you're not.
I'm just changing his hair color to black. That's it.
It's okay.
He's not having brown hair. He needs to have black hair. That is ideal The sister I might mess around with a little bit just to see, but I know I'll end up making her look fucked up.
Well, according to a lot of fans, she does look fucked up, which, I don't agree with, but there are a lot of fans who believe that.
I think she looks fine. I think she looks great. I mean, hello, can we please somebody show me a version of FemShip in 1 through 3 that looked good. All right, can you please? Because this character looks so fucking good in comparison to anything else we've ever had.
Compared to FemShip, yes, she looks amazing. Yeah. Regardless of whatever your opinion is. So goddamn it, people, chill out. I mean, FemShip looks like a cartoon character.
I look like I'm duck facing at every point in time. Like every angle, I'm just duck facing or wincing in pain. It's
so weird that
awkward.
They didn't get a face model for FemShip, because they got one for the male Shepard. They never got one for the female Shepard. They should have put one in at least Mass Effect 2 or 3. I mean, by Mass Effect 3, they definitely should have. But,
they were... You know what? Yeah, it's just, I don't have a problem with the new character. It still baffles me that people are so upset about her.
Well, I think at this point, we'll think about it like this. There's so few things that have been released about the game. People need something to complain about. So it might as well be something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, hey, I'll complain about this stuff too if it's legit. But, I mean, the way that Sarah Ryder looks fine to me. I think she looks pretty fucking normal, and I think that's an incredible improvement over female Shepard.
I'm just saying she looks normal. Like when I look at my Shepard, because I spend so much time trying to make Shepard look normal, and then I have to sit through every cutscene and every part of that game and look at my jacked up character and her duck lips for 3 fucking games, and it's embarrassing. But there's nothing you can do. She's just gonna look like that. There is no way to make her not look like a freak. It's just how FemShip's built. That's it.
So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm probably going to get my new TV, because I told you this story, but back when Mass Effect 1 launched, I bought an HD TV. It was the very first HD TV I ever bought, and it cost me almost $2,000 at the time. And I had this thing installed
insane.
Just for Mass Effect 1. So now I'm looking at buying an $800 4K TV.
Isn't that
And
crazy? Goes from
yes.
$800 4K TV.
Yeah, and it's a 55-inch 4K
Jesus.
TV for $800. And yeah, I'm going to get this thing. It's a curved screen, so I get to experience the curved screen. And I'm going to experience Mass Effect Andromeda in the same way that I experienced Mass Effect 1, which is pure overload. Just way too much. I don't need this, but I'm going to, because I think it's a good tradition to start. Buy a new TV for every 4 Mass Effect games.
For every 4 Mass Effect games?
Yeah,
How many do you think we're going to have?
Well, I imagine they're going to pump out these games until people stop buying them. This is EA. We're probably going to have a Mass Effect game every year for a while. And they're not going to be chocked full of good content either. Not in the way that, I've always been playing some Horizon Zero Dawn lately. I'm not going to talk about it because you haven't played it, but I will say.
But I'm torn on buying it.
It's got some great side quests because all the side quests feel like something unique and original, and I like that. But I don't think Mass Effect is necessarily going to have side quests like that. Nor do I think they're going to have side quests like Witcher 3, which is the golden standard of how to make a decent RPG these days.
Yeah, I got to play that one.
I got to finish that one. I didn't get very far in it at all.
I had started playing the second one, and I don't care if I ever play the second one again.
Yeah, the second one was garbage.
I was just I played it for 4 hours, and then I had a shitty computer, so it started going all over the place and being weird. So I was just like, yeah, I don't need to play it ever again. I never picked it back up.
Part 1 or 2, but Part 3 has me addicted. Like, Part 3, I'm like, yes, I love what they're doing here.
Well, they've obviously learned from their errors and improved on things that were working.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. They definitely did, I can say.
But Horizon Zero Dawn looks... I keep watching people play random parts of it. I watched the first 20 minutes. They released it like a day early for a bunch of streamers. And I watched the first 20 minutes because I wanted to see the opener. So I was just like, okay, I'll watch the opening gameplay. I'll watch like a half hour of this and see what I think. And it looked really good. It was really fun to watch. It looked like it was really fun to play and pretty easy to pick up.
Yeah, it is.
I'm still curious as to, like, my only burning question is, I'm like, okay, there's real critters around, like foxes and rabbits and stuff. So where the fuck is all this machinery coming from?
Well, I guess you have to play the game and find. I will say that I have had a lot of fun hunting the animals. Like, just getting out there with a bow and arrow, shooting animals, hunting them. It's been a blast. Which you have to do because you're trying to craft stuff with the skins and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of crafting in that game from what I saw as well, which is also really cool. I like craft. I like anything survival-esque, so...
But even though it's technically grinding, it doesn't feel like grinding. It feels just fun, like you're just out there having a blast. Like, I've enjoyed that part of the game a lot.
Well, I was watching people do side missions, and just the world is so pretty to be in. Like, I was getting lost watching it, and they also opened up this thing called photo mode.
Yes, I've played around with that.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
I put up 2 photo mode photos on Twitter.
Yeah,
after I was goofing
it's gorgeous.
Around with it.
Like,
it's great.
And you can do so much with it. Like, you can shift all the times of day. You can have the field of view change. Like, you can have everything focused on a certain thing in the photo. And I'm like, oh my god, this is really great. And that will take up a lot of my game time. Is just taking pictures, because I watch people play it on Twitch, and I know that's not even how the game really looks, because on my TV it's going to look so much better. But I'm like baffled watching people play it. I'm like, this is so pretty.
It's a very, very, very pretty game.
Yeah, that's I'm like, this is gorgeous. Like, I'm going to take pictures all the time.
It does have a few issues. I've come up with a few audio issues I've had on certain side quests.
Like what?
Well, here's the big one that I've noticed is sometimes when I'm riding around and someone is trying to, flag me down basically by calling out to me and saying, hey, come over here. The audio, maybe they fixed this in the latest patch. I haven't tried the latest patch yet. So in all honesty and fairness here, this is from the launch of the game. But whenever they would say, hey, I need to speak to you, it always sounded so loud. It was at this very loud pitch, regardless of where the person was, and so it would disorient me, and I'd have no idea where the person was, and I'd be riding around looking for them while they're speaking to me at the exact same volume. It's like it's not. If it was distant or if it was quieter, I'd know they're further away.
Well, that breaks your immersion a little bit.
It does. It sounds like there's a color commentator speaking over the TV, but maybe they fixed it in the patch.
I would hope they did.
I only noticed it in the first 2 ones that I did, so hopefully it's something that will get fixed if it hasn't already. But it was very annoying for a while because it took me literally 10 minutes to find someone once because I couldn't figure out where they were in that world.
Well, I took a longer look at the Hunter game, the new one.
Yeah?
Yep. I looked at it for a long time today.
Oh, yeah?
Because I know it's only a $30 game, but I am a veteran of the original Hunter game. And I don't like change. When I think something's going well, I don't want it to change.
You gotta get with the program.
Well, now I'm aware of what this game actually is. It's a standalone version of the original game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't meant to redo it. The older game still exists. It's still there. You can still subscribe to it and do all that. This one has a story that you can actually play through. It has a whole mission system. You have challenges. You can challenge your friends and do that. And I'm sure they will add a bunch more when it's actually out of early access. But since they have a mission system, since they have a story mode that I can play and play with friends, since they have all that, I'm going to pick it up.
I am too.
Yep, I'm probably buying it in the next couple of days here. Because, now that I know it has a story mode, and I was like, oh, is this co-op? Can I do this with my friends? And by friends, I meant Razzle. So I was like, yeah, can I do this with my friends? My friends, can I do it? And they're like, yeah, you can do everything in this game with your friends. And I'm like, shit. Well, that just got more appealing. Because the way I had seen it before was that you're just going out and killing shit. You have no rhyme or reason to why you're doing it. There's no missions, there's no goals. If I don't have goals, I get bored. If I don't have a reason to be doing something, I get bored. So now that I know there's like I didn't look into the story because I want to know what it is. It's probably nothing crazy and amazing, but I didn't want to know what it was. But it's got a story that's supposedly pretty good, and the map is humongous. It takes a long time to 100% the maps, and there's only 2 right now, but still they're huge. And to know that there's mission systems and I can do it all with somebody else is worth $30 for me right now. I'm doing it.
I told you I played the beta, and one of the things that I would do in there was I went by the lake and I sat down and I kind of hid inside the bushes for a while, and I just sat there waiting, and I'd check my phone and just be doing other things while I'm waiting in the game, and I'd glance up every now and then to take a look around. And when I first looked up at one point, which was about 20 or so minutes of waiting there, and I saw something moving across from me, I got really excited. And so I was like, okay, game on. So it was just, to me, exciting just to kind of chill and hang out and drink some alcohol and wait for the animals. And...
Oh, yeah, which I could do too. But if that's all the game was, it wouldn't be worth buying it.
Well, maybe not for you, but
yeah.
for me, it would be heaven.
But then again, I guess I didn't think about playing it with another person. If I wasn't sitting there alone doing it and I was drinking, yeah, I could. Never mind. You sell me every goddamn time, Razzle. Every goddamn time you sell me on this shit. Well, I sold myself this time, though, before you could come and do it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You're improving.
I'm buying it. I did it myself. I'm an adult. I also I've been watching a bunch of stuff on the Switch.
Oh, yeah, the Switch, the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
yes.
We all forgot about it. It came out. But I've been watching a streamer in Japan, Kitch22, did like a big thing for it. He was buying a bunch of games, not the regular titles. He was buying a bunch of the Japanese titles and ones that weren't being so hyped, just to kind of see what else was out there. So I saw a lot of cool games. They released one of my favorite rhythm games on the Switch called Voice, and I love rhythm games so much. And it's on the Switch now, but you have to pay for it, even though it's free on Android and tablet. Just saying it's free. Or maybe you don't have to pay for it. I could be insane. Don't listen to me. No, you definitely had to buy it, because all the songs were unlocked, and on the mobile version, they're all locked, and you have to, like, earn them or, wait a million days. Shit like that. But the Switch, watching him play it, because he did all the stuff on the handheld thing. So, like, he had a camera on the handheld piece, and it looks really cool. I have not seen a single person not using the handheld. And the people I did watch, the other people I did watch were mostly playing the Zelda game. And apparently there's been a lot of issues with the Zelda game. Like, it's not running well at all on TVs. Like, it's only running well on the actual handheld mode. And then once you put it up on the TV, it just starts to run like shit. It's, like, only working in handheld, which, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true universally or not. I think.
Oh, no, it is. Like, I looked into it. It's actually a problem that's happening.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a problem, but I don't think necessarily everybody with the Switch is having that problem based on what I've heard and read. But I will say that right now the Switch, as far as what it is right now, it's basically just Zelda. Until they release more games, it's basically you're buying it for Zelda.
But do you think it's going to end up being a system that's going to be predominantly used as a handheld?
I think it'll be something you switch. And I think it'll just depend on how you want to use it. Like, yeah, I think it has a place as a handheld. Like when you're in bed late at night, you're like, you know what, I'm going to play some Nintendo. So you just reach over, grab the Switch, and play it. But if you're instead wanting to hook it up to the TV, then yeah, maybe you want to go get on the couch and play some games on a bigger screen. I mean, I think you could literally use it both ways just fine. I don't really know how most people will play it, but I think right now, sure, it's more interesting to play it as a handheld because it's new and it's light and everybody loves a handheld, right? So I loved my DS when I first got a DS.
And then we all forgot about them and they all grow dust. I have every handheld I own in a drawer right next to me. I haven't turned any of them on in years.
Yeah, I don't even know where my DS is anymore.
Like, I know they're here and I have, like, the chargers for them, but, like, after a couple months, they just fucking disappear from my life. But apparently this new Zelda game, I guess the Zelda games aren't considered very difficult games. I mean, that's what I'm hearing is that, like, they're not difficult to play. There's people that say the puzzle system can be hard, which I've seen watching Twilight Princess. Like, it's hard. Like, some of those puzzles, I'm like, shit, that's a puzzle. But, like, the general gameplay of, like, the combat system and all that stuff in Zelda doesn't seem too difficult. Apparently, in Breath of the Wild, they've upped the difficulty of the game a lot. Like, like a lot of people are saying it's become really hard to play. But then there's also people that are saying it's a good thing for the series and that it should be hard.
Yeah, it has no hand-holding as far as I know. So basically, you're learning how to play the game as you play it. And so everything you discover feels like a real amazing discovery. I guess it harkens back to the early days of Nintendo, back before there was, a lot of people giving you information about games or whatever. Unless, I guess you can go online and figure out how to play Zelda, but otherwise, yeah, if you just pick up the Switch, pick up Zelda, from what I understand, there's no hand-holding. It's not going to walk you through how to play. You just have to figure it out. So,
yeah,
that's fine.
I don't know. This one, like, people are calling it, like, the Dark Souls of Zelda.
Well, it might be.
Which is a pretty intense title to put on it. They get the Dark Souls of Zelda, but maybe if they've upped it that much, I get it. But I don't know. I've never played a Zelda game. I've never had the drive to really dive into that universe, so it's never really appealed to me.
It's an older gen game, and it has a long history. Zelda does. I remember the very first Zelda game, top down and beautiful, with that same looping theme song repeating over and over. And I played all up through Ocarina of Time. That was the last one I played.
Wasn't that on the GameCube?
It was on the N64.
Oh, they remade it then.
Because I never had a GameCube, and I definitely played Ocarina of Time, so it had to be 64.
Yeah, they remade that game then, because I saw somebody playing it on the GameCube. Isn't it, like, don't you just play this guy named Link?
Yeah, you play Link.
And you're trying to save a princess named Zelda?
Yes.
That doesn't appeal to me.
But that's just the background plot. That's not.
Yeah, that's
what you're
all
doing.
I got to go on, Razzle.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more to the games than that.
And I know there's somebody named Ganondorf.
Well, Ganon, or Ganondorf, as he's called in Ocarina of Time, and he's also changed names. And it's because every single game, you're a different Link, rescuing a different Zelda.
What? Is it like an alternate timeline?
Yeah, sort of. It's sort of like that, where you have like these different voyages through time and such, and but you're always playing a new, different Link in every game. You're not playing the same Link.
So it's not a running story.
No.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Okay, so I could just start with the new one if I wanted to.
Yes, you could.
Well, shit, that makes this easier. Well, because my thing is, if I can enjoy the newer ones, I can keep going back to the older ones. Because I can enjoy older games still. Like, some people can't look at older games and find them playable, but I'm fine with it. So I can go back and play the older ones.
Good. Then you should go back and play Jade Empire.
I told you I would.
Well,
I have said this 1,000 times. Damn it! I will play Jade Empire.
Good.
It's probably a real cheap, right?
What?
It's on Origin, right? Isn't that an Origin game?
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know if it has. Does it have controller support? It might have controller support. I imagine it does.
Hopefully even if it doesn't, I'm playing
it. Okay.
What? Do you want me to get it on console? Am I making the wrong decision?
No, don't do that, because even if you bought it, I mean, you'd have to play it on the original Xbox, because
I have an original Xbox.
Because it is backwards compatible with the 360, but there were some issues with it. So, yeah.
They probably patched them.
But you could get it on Origin. I don't think there'd be a problem with that.
Okay, there you go. My game list, I have anxiety thinking about the amount of games I have to play.
Well, I mean, Jade Empire, in my opinion, the best IP BioWare ever came up with, and they did nothing with it, so you've got to play it.
I get to play with an IP that went nowhere.
Yeah, you can. They released that game at the very end of the Xbox's life.
And what year did that game came out?
It was 2005. 2005.
How many years before the IP is just given up, like public use?
Well, I mean, it depends, but I mean, they've also used that IP for mobile games and stuff, so they do still use it. But
stupid.
And IPs work a little differently, as far as I know. I know that EA, I think, would have probably the control over the IP now. But regardless, and that's why I'm kind of sitting here like, BioWare's creating a new IP, and I'm like, well, you guys still have Jade Empire. I'm kind of like that mom who's like, oh yeah, well, you want the new toy? What, you still got these old toys that are perfectly good, BioWare. Why don't you play with your old toy?
You got all these things you never even opened from Christmas.
I'm just saying, I mean, BioWare, you created this beautiful, magical world, and you did nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I went to that store, I bought Jade Empire, and I thought, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a new franchise. I was thinking this thing was going to go on like Final Fantasy, and there'd be like 18 sequels or whatever. But no, Jade Empire had one game, and if you ever look at the box art of that game, it is so pretty. The music that was written by Jack Wall is so stunning. It is the best music he ever did in a video game, and this is a man who did Mass Effect music. All right. They did such a magical, wonderful job on Jade Empire and then dropped it. And the reason why they did probably had something to do with when they released it. They released it right when the 360 was taking off. And so not as many people grabbed it.
Oh, because everyone's giving up the Xbox at that point.
Yeah,
a lot of people trade in and shit, too. People trade in old systems for the new ones to get a little bit off. So a lot of those people probably didn't even have the Xbox at that point.
Some probably didn't. And, I mean, it was just a bad timing to release that game. They should have held off, made it more HD and then released it on 360, and they would have actually seen a better return.
Well, the same thing happened with Quantic Dream's first game.
Yeah, I guess so.
That game could have been, I mean, granted, it eventually became like its own kind of cult classic anyway. And they're doing fantastically even if nobody knew about that game. But that game could have been huge. It just came out at the wrong time.
Well, I mean, BioWare's doing just fine too, but the IP just isn't. it doesn't have that many fans. There are a couple of us diehard Jade Empire lovers who...
I'm sure you could get people back into it, though. If you reboot that series, I'm sure people will cling on to it because people want to see a good RPG because they don't exist anymore.
Well, that's not true.
I'm just saying okay, listen, let's not take me literally here. Well, we have them, but there aren't many good ones that are currently being made.
Well, okay. Well, I would say Cyberpunk 2077 is probably going to be amazing. That's when that one's, being made.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying things that are currently coming to be and that have come out. There's been nothing very dazzling.
Always got to do Elder Scrolls, and you'll have Fallout 5. But I would agree, as far as Mass Effect, our BioWare games, not Mass Effect games, but BioWare games, they've been going downhill lately, and I don't know if they'd even properly do anything with Jade Empire, because you got to imagine most of the people who worked on it aren't there anymore.
None of them probably are anymore.
Well, I think the lead writers are still there of that game. But I think because Dragon Age did so well, they went with that instead of Jade Empire.
Stupid.
And so they've completely butchered Dragon Age. And I'm just hoping that one day they go, you know what? Maybe we should try another Jade Empire. We have this IP. There aren't a whole lot of martial arts RPGs out there on the market. We could really do something incredible here. But until they do, well, it'll just sit there on the back burner, probably for another 10 damn years.
See, so you consider... Okay. I guess I just like a very specific kind of RPG. Because I don't even think of Fallout and Skyrim.
Well, those are...
Because I hate those games.
Well, they are RPGs, but they're a different type of RPG than the more story cinematic drivens by BioWare and such.
Yeah,
sure.
Because those are the things that I'm talking about when I say that we don't have many good RPGs.
But those are also different than Final Fantasy games. So, I mean, there are like a billion different types of RPGs. We even had one episode where we were talking about what is an RPG, but
nobody knows anymore. It's kind of encompassing everything at this point. But you never even touched a Final Fantasy game, did you?
And I probably won't.
That is rude.
Well, it's a good place to stop.
It's rude, Razzle, because...
What? I don't think that's rude.
Because you're not giving it a chance.
That's not true. That's not true. I did try at least 2 of them on the DS back in the day.
That's not good.
Well, I'm just saying I did give it a chance.
No, we need a do-over.
I don't know if I'd really get into it, though. I saw you play once, and I don't know.
Oh, but that was Final Fantasy 13. Nobody likes Final Fantasy 13.
Well,
and then somebody's going to be like, I love Final Fantasy 13. It's horrible.
But we are at our 1 hour mark here, so we've got to...
This is very game-centric this week. I came with nothing to bring either. But, hey, there's all this Andromeda stuff. Just imagine, you guys only have to hear about it for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, then we'll be...
Well, 3 weeks, really.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Third week, we're going to have our impressions of the game.
Yeah,
so
that'll be interesting. We won't really have even spoken to each other until that time, until we talk about it here. So it'll be interesting. But I promise you, the Andromeda speeches will end eventually. You got like 3 more weeks of them, though, so just fucking deal with it. I don't know what else to tell you. But that's it for us for now. You can email us at theprattlecast@gmail.com. Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/theprattlecast. Every episode's uploaded to YouTube. We have a Twitter account at theprattlecast. Our personal Twitters are at ShakezillaTV and at Razzle_Dazzles. We stream together every week. This week, we are streaming on Friday. We just finished Lord of the Rings War in the North, which we didn't talk about, but we will. This week, we're starting Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Friday, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. We have a Patreon page where you can donate monthly, as little as $1, as much as too much, and you get perks. You get different things. You get early access to stuff, T-shirts. You just get different things for different amounts. Go look at the page. It's in the description below. I'm not missing anything, am I? Am I good?
You're good.
God damn it, I'm good. That's it for us. Until next time, be nice to each other.